What's always interesting about the law and what got me involved in the law is that no situation is ever the same. I always think I've seen it all, and then something happens that day and there's something new. So what happens if you get remarried, right? You have a child support order, which means that you are ordered by a court to pay a certain sum of money per month, typically, to the other parent in a divorce action or a paternity action, right? So you are the person paying support. Or you could be the person receiving support too, for that matter. All right, so before I answer that question and dive into that issue for you, I want to remind you that we love it when you subscribe to our page, because then we know you like the content, you want more of it. And we love it even more when you leave comments, because it helps us to understand what you're looking for and that we can make our videos specific to you. All right, guys, so what happens if you get remarried, right? You have a child support order, which means that you are ordered by a court to pay a certain sum of money per month, typically, to the other parent in a divorce action or a paternity action, right? So you are the person paying support. Or you could be the person receiving support too, for that matter. And people come to us and they say, hey, I got remarried. All right, I'm remarried and my new husband has this amount of income, and my ex is taking me back to court and wants to review child support, and I'm concerned that my husband's new income will be put into the bucket, essentially, for the court to consider as to whether or not child support should be increased or decreased, whatever change should be made. That's a legitimate concern to have. So if I back up here for a moment, I want to just remind people that with child support orders in Wisconsin, which is where we're based, the court's job in determining income is to find out what monthly income is available for each parent, okay? And in doing so, you're going to look primarily at the parents, okay? So that's mom, dad, right? Typically, right? And you're going to look at them to determine what is the income that they have. You start with that, the monthly income that's available for support, and the court should be then applying the state support guidelines in Wisconsin and essentially saying, this is what the number would be based upon my finding for what I think the mother's income is and my finding of what I think the father's income is, combined with their placement schedule, and the guidelines tell us X amount is what this person should pay, okay? What happens then is the court can decide to not apply that number by looking at a number of different factors that are outlined in our statutes in Wisconsin. And one of the factors is financial resources of the party. All right, so when I talk to my clients, I always remind them that as a starting point, we look at just the parent's income. However, when a court is making an order, it has to decide, is it fair to the child or is it fair to the parties? And if the court makes a finding that it's unfair to a child or a party, one of those factors to consider whether it's fair or not is the financial resources of the other party. To some degree, when you remarry, your new spouse's income could have some impact on the child support award, right? Like if one parent has abundant financial resources, would it be fair for that parent then to be asking the parent who's paying support, who does not have abundant financial resources, to pay support? An argument could be made that for this person that's paying, they could say, well, look, how is that fair? She's remarried and, she's got, I don't know, millions of dollars coming in from this new spouse. The court's got to look at that, right? The answer to the question really is you start with the parents, but then you look at some of these other factors to determine if that amount by the guidelines is fair or not. Really, you need to sit down with an attorney and talk about your specific situation. And that's, what's always interesting about the law and what got me involved in the law is that no situation is ever the same. I always think I've seen it all, and then something happens that day and there's something new. So your situation is unique and it's specific and it's worthy of a conversation with an attorney, someone like me. Have a conversation and find out what's going on and how it's going to apply to your case. All right, guys, thanks for watching this video. I appreciate you very much.